Hi everyone, Josh here with Josh Nam Golf, and today we're going to do a swing analysis of Collin Morikawa. And I'm sure most of you saw him win the Open Championship this week at Royal St. George. And Collin's turning into one heck of a player. We've got two majors now in a little over a year and a half on tour, 5 tour victories. He statistically is the best iron player on tour this year, and it's not even close. He's picking up over a shot. It's like 1.1 shots per round on the fields with the strokes gained approach. He is having one of the statistically best seasons in history with his approach shots. And he was just as good last year. So this isn't just a fluke. He is just a phenomenal ball striker. And if he ever gets his putting even to tour average, he's going to win a ton because I think this year he's ranked like 120th on tour in putting, and last year's like 160th. But he is unarguably right now the greatest ball striker on the PGA Tour. And he does a lot of things in his swing that I think may help your game. He's got a fantastic swing, does a lot of great things. And while I'm never big on trying to copy somebody's swing, I think we can learn a lot from watching great players swing and what they do, and maybe we can incorporate some of it into our games and have us start hitting the ball a little better. So we're just going to go over a couple things. It won't take long, but I just want to point out a couple things that he does in his swing that tend to be a trademark for all good players. So one of the things you're going to notice here on the face-on is he gets a pretty weak left-hand grip. So we see here in the circle, pretty weak left-hand grip. The V's between his thumb and forefinger are kind of pointed right there. It's one of the weaker grips on tour. And honestly, probably a little weaker than I'd like to see. But this is important in this discussion of how he gets the club face to square up with such a weak grip. And what he's going to have to do is really bow his wrist a la Jon Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka. He's really going to have to do that because if he didn't, the face would be wide open coming down. So that's just kind of something to look for. So let's start here on the down the line view. And we're just going to draw a little line here on the setup. And one of the biggest things right off the bat when Collin sets up that I love is how well balanced he is. When I look at somebody's posture from down the line, if we just draw a line from right underneath the back of his armpits there, you're going to see how from the back of his armpits, it goes through the tip of the knees into the balls of the feet. That shows me that he's got really good balance. Setup looks good. Arms are hanging right underneath the shoulders. He's not reaching for it. The arms aren't pulled in to him, just hanging down naturally. Looks fantastic. As he takes this club away, you may see a little movement here. I don't think this camera is on a tripod, but it's pretty good. As he takes this back till parallel to the ground, this is just a perfect takeaway. You can see the hands are still on the original shaft plane line. The club's going right through the hands. One of the best takeaways you're ever going to find. One of the big things I see with a lot of amateurs is the club rolls way inside or behind the hand. So you'll start seeing the club head, way back here in the takeaway. Gets the club out of position really early and it's hard to recover. The other thing I like in his swing, so if we just draw a line here on the leading edge of the club, we're going to see it matches his spine angle. It's not toe up. He's got the face a little closed from toe up. It's like we said, it's matching his spine angle there, which to me is perfect. I love to see that. That's in a great position. And then as he goes to the top, we talked a little bit about his weak grip. So we're going to see where he gets this very bowed left wrist here at the top. His left wrist or his lead wrist has gone into flexion, not extension, which just simply means that it's bowed. We can see how that left wrist is really turned down. Now that closes the club face there anytime you bow the left wrist. So for a lot of you out there that slice the ball, the overlying issue tends to be an open face, and bowing the left wrist at the top of the backswing or as you come down is a fantastic way to help close it. Collin bows it more than probably almost anyone on tour, maybe other than Dustin Johnson, but really bows that left wrist. And then as he comes down, that allows the club face to get more closed through. so he doesn't have to flip it. We can see how bowed that left wrist still is coming down. Good divot out in front. We see that he doesn't flip the club at all. The club's still out in front of the hands. So he's able to keep the club face very stable through impact. And we're about to see this on the face-on even better. So for all you players out there that tend to flip the ball, you're going to see an impact here that is nothing like yours. We can see how that left wrist is still bowed. And then as he comes through, really keeps it bowed through impact. Probably the most I do see on tour. But again, he has to, with that weak grip in his left hand, because if he didn't, the face would be wide open. So we're going to see that lead wrist really stay bowed through it. Kind of getting those knuckles down through impact. Helps get forward shaft lean. Helps get the bottom of the swing more forward. Also helps to de-loft the club. So he's able to hit the ball with a little more compression and keep the ball flight down. One other thing I want to look at on the face-on view, and again, this one's not quite, it's not on a tripod, I don't believe. It doesn't move much, but it will move just a little. Another great thing you see in Collin Morikawa's swing that you tend to see in all great ball strikers here from this face-on position, as he takes this club back, you're going to see this little box I drew around his hips. His right hip is going to work back and stay on the line. His lead hip or his left hip is actually going to work this way slightly off the line, which you can see. And it keeps staying that way till right at the top. You're going to see how those hips start centering right there. So they go from on the line to the middle, right at that kind of top or transition. So he is starting to move forward with his pressure. His center of mass is starting to move forward towards the ball before he gets to the top. Most of his pressure is on his back foot at about left arm parallel to the ground on the backswing. Say, I don't know his exactly, but let's say 90% of his pressure is on his back foot. And then by the time he gets to the top, he's about 50-50. That's a very athletic move that you see from most good golfers. Most poor golfers go back, wait too long to get it forward if they get it forward at all, and then having to rush forward. You can see kind of like a pitcher, the legs going forward as the arm's still going back. Same here in the golf swing. So we're going to see the hips start working forward early. But as he does that, the head stays pretty much in the circle. It's going to move forward just slightly as the pressure really moves to his front side, and then he bows that wrist down and through. So some great things we can kind of see with Collin Morikawa. It makes him such a great ball striker, and I think there's a couple things in his swing that may help your golf game. So keep those emails coming, josh@joshnomgolf.com. Love doing these swing analysis, and I hope you learned something.